Hello everybody, this is the Rat speaking. In this video I'm going to be talking a lot about Sparta because everybody knows I'm pretty old. I'm 30 years old almost. I used to use the tool Sparta, but now it's renamed to Legion. So I'm going to put the link down in the description. Whenever I say Sparta, just replace it with Legion. Legion has one big, well, it has a few extra features really. You can check them out yourself because I didn't really touch on any of the differences, but I might make a video in the future. Most, if not all of what I say in this video holds true for Legion as well as for Sparta. So it depends on if you have an older installation of Kali or a newer one. In the newer installation you'll have Legion, in the older one you'll have Sparta. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Hello you amazing hackers, hope you're all doing well today. I have a video today about some tools like nikto, some tools like nmap. Some of you have asked me, how do you read the results of these specific tools and how can I interpret them to find bugs? Now, first of all, I'm going to show you guys a tool that I like to use that's called Sparta. So it's in screen right now. As you can see, this is the tool. And I've added a few hosts so I can explain a little bit. But at first I'm going to show you guys how you add a host to Sparta. So what Sparta is it's an automatic recon tool. When I add a host to this specific tool, it's going to scan for nmap first. So it's going to do a quick nmap scan. Then it's going to check the ports that are open a little bit deeper for some of the other ports as well. So it's going to do some full port scans, it's going to do some aggressive scans, it's going to do a staged nmap scan. When it finds a specific port, for example port 80, sorry for that by the way, let me close that real quick. So when it finds a specific port, so say for example port 80, you're going to also notice that it's going to run nikto. So nikto is a web vulnerability scanner, which I'm going to also be showing you guys how to interpret the results of. So in this specific video, we're going to look at Sparta, nikto, and nmap. So as you can see, I already added some hosts. Now let's say I want to add a new host. What I can just do is click the little gear icon here in the bottom right. Sorry, that's not the right one. I just type click the file tab in the bottom, and then I go to add hosts to scope, or I can just use the shortcut Ctrl H. Now I can add my domain, for example news.google.com. You can add URLs in here, you can add IPs in here, you can add IP ranges, and you can add IP subnets. As you can see, we have a few options: run nmap host discovery, that's something I always do, and run nmap staged scan, that's also something I always do. The host discovery is going to tell you what the host is running. So as you can see, I already did mail account and www.google.com. And when we have the tab hosts, you can see a few tabs within each host separately. Now we're going to go over these. So first of all, of course, the services tab. As you can see which port is open, what protocol is used for that port, and what state the port is in. Nmap can differentiate between filtered, open, and closed. And then we can also have the name of the port. Sometimes people choose to name their ports differently, and it'll show up here. You can also see a version if the version is available, of course. Whatever version information is available will be displayed in here. Now you can also see a script page, which we'll go over later. Also an informations tab. Here you can see a little bit more information. When it's done running the staged nmap scan, and it'll probably find a little bit more information about the operating systems of some of these hosts. You can go to the nodes, which you can add your own nodes to each host. Also useful at times. You can run nikto. So for example here, nikto has already run on mail.google.com. We'll go over how to interpret these results as well. This all happens automatically, by the way. We'll go over the google.com as well. And as you can see, it runs both on port 80 and port 443, and it'll try to take a screenshot. Now in this case, we cannot view the screenshots because Google has a protection in place for eyewitness, which I'll treat in a separate eyewitness video. When we go to the news.google.com, which is the one we just added, you can see that also we have the same ports open. Now it's doing its nikto scan again, and I'm going to show you guys how to interpret these results. So as you can see, it's telling you a few bits of information about the headers. So you got your server, you've got a few noticeable header changes, for example, no cross-site scripting header, and then we can see the content type options header is not set. This is usually some information for later on. So it's a web vulnerability scanner. It will try to look for vulnerabilities for you, but you still have to exploit them. So as you can see, the cross-site scripting header is disabled, which means it is a little bit easier to look for cross-site scriptings on the website. It doesn't automatically mean that the website is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. That's something you really need to keep in mind. Everything that's in here is something that you need to confirm for yourself. So it will also tell you a little bit about, for example, the robots.txt, and it found some unforbidden entries in there. It found some entries that give a redirect in the robots.txt. And you can go through all of these results and see if some interesting information comes up. Also, it finds some maybe interesting locations, so it tries to sort them out for you. And if there are any vulnerable web application versions being used, it'll also indicate that. Now, sometimes nikto might go wild because some websites return a 200 status code for every single request that you send. So even if it's gibberish that you're sending, it'll return a 200 status code. So in that case, nikto can't really operate properly, and you'll have to make a few adjustments. Now, of course, always do it on both port 80 and port 443. That's really necessary. You really have to do that because sometimes those two ports can serve a different system. Now, when we have these ports, so when we say, for example, port 80, we can also in Sparta right-click on the port, and we can try to run some scripts. For example, we can try to run what's web. We can try to run, let me see here, web slayer, dirbuster. We can try to grab the banners. Excuse me. That's something we can all do. And we can, again, open the specific pages, and we can see what the output is of these scripts. Really interesting for some ports because you can do it on all ports and it'll be context dependent which scripts you can run. So when I open the service tab and I click on a web port, I'll see the web scripts in here. But when I open a secure shell port, I'll see the secure shell port scripts in there. So it's really useful to differentiate what kind of scripts you can run. Now, some other useful tools that are in Sparta is that you can sort by service. So when we open the services tab, we can see all the different services that we have found. So when I have, for example, 200 hosts in here, I can just open my services tab and go through them service by service. For example, I know that HTTP offers the biggest attack surface for me, so that's the first thing I'll try. Next, I'll go through all of the other options and I'll see where I end up. You can also run your scripts from here again. So right click on it and then you can run your scripts. You can, for example, on port 443 run all the SSL scripts as well. Now you can also sort by tools. So for example, we've launched a few tools. Let's say a screen shooter. We want to see all the screenshots. We can just open the screen shooter tab and go through them all separately. We can open all the nikto scans, see what they bring. And this is also really interesting because you can just run through your tools one by one and see if anything interesting pops up. So that was my explanation. One other thing I would like to show you guys is that you can always right click a host. So if you're not satisfied with the Nmap results, you can always right click it and redo the port scans with the proper Nmap scan that you would like. So that was my video. It's a really good tool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I'll see you in the next video as well. Please leave a like up if you did enjoy. It really helped me with the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe, because when we hit 1,500 subscribers, we'll be giving away a £10 voucher for Hack the Box. So thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.